record. Amazing. Well, hello, Mairéad. I'm talking to Mairéad Folan of No Ropes Theatre Company, and really we're just going to have a chat. And Mairéad makes amazing theatre, and she's a brilliant actress, but she's also a really wonderful producer. And I first met you, Mairéad, when I saw one of your shows at the O'Donoghue Centre that you just had seen, and you loved it so much you gave it a stage in the West of Ireland. And I thought, that is a real powerhouse of a of a woman and an artist, and I was really grateful to be in your company and to get to know you. And I'm really grateful to speak to you now, especially seeing as you're just recovering from your run at the Town Hall Theatre with Luke, which looks brilliant. But Mairéad, I want to ask you about ritual. Can you tell me what that word brings to mind and what it makes you
think? I guess ritual is to kind of ground yourself, whatever processes, whatever steps you take in order to ground yourself. Like for me, like when it comes to show, it doesn't matter if I'm acting or if I'm just painting the set. I need a moment in this space without the actors or the directors just kind of like it doesn't have to be that long. It just like, even if it's like just 1 minute crossing the stage, just to have that kind of the calmness before the craziness.
Yeah.
Just to kind of center myself.
Yeah. And does that come naturally to you?
I don't know.
I'm coming into this call and I'm like, da. You have come with this grounded presence. Maybe it's a practice for you, or maybe it's
is it definitely a practice. I don't know where I picked it up or where it started, but I know like when like the director of Luke was like, he was worried that we wouldn't have enough time on stage, the actors, like before the show. I'm like, look, don't worry, I will find my time. Like, This is the thing I need for me. I was like, look, don't worry about that. This is my thing.
Yeah. You bring your own time with you. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really, and I'm really drawn. I think we're all drawn to people like that, and like trees as well. Like, I want to go and sit by a tree because it's rooted, it's grounded, it's doing its own thing. And there are some people who manage to bring their own time and infuse it. And I guess as an actor, you have to, because you're bringing the audience with you. But yeah, and I just wondered, in a sort of, if you've ever been struck by a ritual in life, or like, you know how people always use the example of brushing your teeth every day. And I just wonder if there's anything in your life that you think, this makes everything feel okay, or if you've seen somebody else do something you thought, they must have to do that to, I don't know, keep going.
I think the only ritual I can think of, like spur of the moment, is the Irish wake. As in, like, when all your neighbours come around, like especially if you have the wake in the house, they bring food, they bring drinks, they just kind of gather around, and like you spend, like, the corpse is never alone for the night. There's always someone in the room there. So I think is that way, is like that kind of ritualistic. It's nice, because I know like in the UK that doesn't happen. Like, but I think it's kind of just nice because you're there for the last journey, and you're just like giving comfort to the family or the loved ones. And also celebration, I guess.
I think there's something so powerful about that, and it is something that's been going on for centuries, for years, and there's some deep wisdom in it. And I was actually really moved. I was at the Mermaid Arts Theatre in Bray, and it was at the time of the really sad murder of Ashley Murphy. And I came out of the theatre, and it's, as you may know, there's this sort of open circle with seats around it, and people had bought candles and they'd made this vigil, and actually they were actually doing a walk to the sea and then coming back. And I thought that was so wise, as a way of being able to express sadness and grief, and also allow the body to move, and this feeling of a journey, like to similarly to stay up, to acknowledge the body of your loved one, and then to stay up with them all night and to be with them. There's something of this duration that seems really important as well. And I just was so moved by it and so touched, and it allowed somebody like me, who'd obviously read the news and thought it was sad and was a visitor to Bray that day, to come and pay my respects in a really meaningful way as well. So I found it very welcoming and very moving and very, like, deeply wise. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, and you just remind me there. So I was part of a digital lab in January, and one of the participants had to leave on the second day because his mom passed away, and we, as the remaining group, decided that we would send him a message. So basically, it was kind of like that. Like, we all got candles from our own houses, and like, you know, there was like about like 12 panels on Zoom, and so we all held our candles like this, and then like in unison we blew out the candles, kind of like sending hope and peace and all that towards him. And it's just like, it was like what you said, it was so moving. And like, we only met him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it was that kind of like, it was that bond, like that bond is still there, like.
Yeah. And I think and I always wonder where it comes from. And I leave that as an open question, but like the use of candles, and I mean, there's a rich history to do with that, but also it just feels so innate, doesn't it? We know to use a symbol and to connect on that way, and I'm just rabbiting on now, but wow, thank you, Mairéad. Like,
No worries.
So deep, so quickly. That's just so wonderful. And I wonder then as well, is there anything, I think as well, rituals tell us what we value and what we care about, and what we maybe want to, we need to sort of hold, like we might want to hold your friend in their grief or in another way. And I wondered if there's anything that's like, it's really meaningful to you at the moment that you feel like you are standing up for, or is calling to you, or is always calling to you. Sort of a vague question.
I don't know if it's a ritual, but like, so I've done a lot of diversity work within the theatre sector last year, and I guess in a way Luke does broach that, but I feel like people get lost in their own little bubbles, and they're like, I need to get this done. We need this our way, but they don't, like, intersectionality is key. Like, if you reach out to other minority groups, you realize that we all have the same obstacles. Of course, there's obviously obstacles that's very, geared to your specific minority group, but like majority of the case, you're just hitting the same roadblocks. So if you work all together, then things will happen. But it's the single-mindedness that's just like drives me crazy. It's like, no, if you really want to be diverse, then you have to be diverse within your group as well, because you can be like, you can be Irish, you could be disabled, you could be LGBTQ, and like, your mom could be from America and your dad could be from Cyprus. It's just like, it's like there's no one true person. You're always like bits of everything, I think.
Yeah. I like Walt Whitman, I contain multitudes. And that is the richness of intersectionality, which acknowledges that we're not just one thing, that we're many things, and how that works in the world needs to be acknowledged and is so important. And you're right, like on the whole, we do want the same things. We want good lives for each other and for the planet. And really, the majority of us, that's what we want. And it's like, if we could work together for that fairness, it would be, so useful. But also this idea that the means are the ends, like how we do it. The doing of it has to embody those values. I was actually,
and it's like, even when you think about ritual, like say if you think with for example, if you take disability, like what works for me, just like from a day-to-day basis, will be different with someone else that has cerebral palsy. Or like even if you take the whole idea of autism, like it's such a wide spectrum. Like what someone's tick is not another person's tick. And I think ritual is good, but you have to be flexible in embracing ritual, because otherwise it won't work.
It has to, depending on what you're doing, like, because obviously people have secret rituals and rituals that they intentionally keep hidden, but if you were doing a ritual that you wanted everyone to be a part of, it has to be in a way that can encompass everybody. So if you're all doing backflips, can we all do backflips, or what's the invitation, and is it inclusive? And which also I saw that you were doing relaxed performances, and in that spirit of welcomeness, even in the rituals theatre, like theatre is its wonderful ritual. And then talking about I'm really blessed that I get to do it at Charlie Byrnes. I really love them. It's such a wonderful space. And also I'm doing it at the Town Hall Theatre Studio, but that is a space that is inaccessible because you have to get to it through stairs. So even like thinking about like where we're doing our shows and how we welcome people into the space in the first place. And then thinking of what's his name? Was it Ibsen or was it Strindberg? Whoever put the lights down first and was like, now that's become such a part of the ritual that makes me feel like, oh yeah, I'm settling in for a show. And then the lights come on and it's like, how do we begin? How do we even start all of this stuff? And
then like with the relaxed performance we had live captioning as well, which is basically subtitles. And I don't know, was there anyone actually using the subtitles, like that actually had to use the subtitles, but feedback from people that I know, they were saying that it was brilliant, that it like felt part of the show.
Oh, wow.
As in, like it was like for them, because like I kind of, not that I warned people, but like I'm like, okay, you do realize that Saturday is a relaxed performance. You're not going to have the normal theatre rules, so like just beware, like, because like because like some people like not that I've got any complaints would pick Saturday night, oh perfect theatre night, but like if they see the lights are up and there's captioning and the music isn't as loud as it would be normally, or like people are moving around in seats and being like, as an audience are moving around in seats, being out in that, that they would not be happy with that. But if it, like, from what feedback that I got, it felt very the norm. It was like nothing was jarring. It just felt all connected. And they were and he said that like it should be done more often, which is true.
I love that idea. It feels very fluid, like the entryway into the performance. Nothing is jarring, so it's welcoming in a different way. Yeah.
Like it was jarring for me a bit, just because like if I looked at to my left and I would see the, like you're not supposed like the actors are not supposed to look at the screens.
Yeah.
But then, like, but you know when you don't, you know when you're so used to look at a certain point for a line, and then suddenly there's something there, and you're just like, there's somewhere else. Like nobody noticed it, but like myself, I just,
That's funny. You're like, I'm trying to do my dramatic look into the distance. Oh, well, this has been absolutely wonderful, Mairéad. And I'm going to release us from our ritual Zoom recording space, and I'm going to stop the recording. But thank you, everybody who's watching.